to see that take hold. It wasn't just the Iowa fans. It wasn't just a sold-out Carver. She became a roadshow.
I don't know if Cheryl really understood the big news, but a lot of people in basketball were confused. They wondered why the NBA suddenly canceled the All-Star Games three-point contest between Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. Last year, the contest was really exciting. Everyone thought it would happen again. Sabrina was only 3 points behind Steph, and that got a lot of people talking. It also helped more people see how good WNBA players are. Because the WNBA wasn't on the NBA stage, it might have lost some attention. Some people think this is a big loss for the league and women's basketball. Just look at how winning 3 dunk contests helped Mac McClung's NBA career. No hate to Mac. He saved the dunk contest. But you see what I mean. People who say skipping the NBA skills contest hurts the WNBA are wrong. And that's actually a good thing, because before Caitlin came, things weren't going great. A long time ago, let's call it before Caitlin, WNBA players would have done anything to be in the NBA All-Star Game. The TV ratings were way higher, the crowd was huge, and it was a big chance to get noticed. But honestly, it felt more like a sideshow, like the NBA was just being nice by letting them join. The NBA didn't really need the WNBA. That's why Caitlin's saying no, and the NBA canceling the contest is such a big deal. The WNBA, its players, and those who keep doubting Caitlin need to pay attention to what just happened. This is one of the smart moves she has made that worked out. Now she has a chance to prove everyone wrong once and for all. Let's talk about it. Caitlin said no to the All-Star Games three-point contest for the second year in a row. Last year, she skipped it to rest. She had just finished a long season with the Hawkeyes and then jumped into the WNBA. But this time, rest wasn't the reason. She made a smart move to build her brand. Caitlin made it clear her first three-point contest will be at the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis this summer. Before Caitlin, saying no to the NBA All-Star Game and choosing the WNBA's version was like trading gold for a half-eaten taco. It made no sense, and for any other player, it still doesn't. But Caitlin is different. She made a bold move that helped both her and the WNBA. And guess what? The NBA canceled the event. Their reason? They said they couldn't make it better than last year. But let's be real, that just means no Caitlin, no point. Here's why this matters. Before, WNBA players needed the NBA's stage to get noticed. But this time, the NBA needed a WNBA player, Caitlin Clark. Right now, she is one of the biggest names in basketball. Sports Pro even ranked her the 4th most marketable athlete in the world, ahead of Messi and Ronaldo. Even if you don't agree with that ranking, you can't ignore her impact. She has more star power than any other women's player and can attract fans who usually wouldn't watch the WNBA. And everybody knows it. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Bose, Buick. These are just a few brands Caitlin has partnered with. She has likely been offered deals by hundreds of big companies. But now, she says no more often than she says yes. That brings us back to why she turned down the NBA. Caitlin knows she is the biggest attraction, so she chose to put all the attention on the WNBA instead of shining on the NBA stage. Her no to the NBA was a huge yes for the WNBA. She understands her power and is using it to bring more fans to the league. Every WNBA player should be thanking her for making their game the priority. But here's the big thing. This isn't the first time she has done something like this. Caitlin has always been serious about supporting the WNBA. She doesn't just say it, she proves it with her actions. Every choice she makes is about making women's basketball bigger. For example, many people thought she would play in Unrivaled, including the organizers and TNT, who made a TV deal expecting her to join. The league even pays more than the WNBA, and most assumed she would use her fame to help it grow. But Caitlin said no, even turning down a $1 million equity offer. Her answer? Thanks, but no thanks. For many, Caitlin's decision didn't make sense. Unlike skipping the NBA event, Unrivaled is a women's league that helps players earn more money. And let's be honest, Unrivaled won't say it. But without Caitlin, the league might not last long. But her reason was clear. She is fully focused on the WNBA because that's the biggest stage. Winning in Unrivaled wouldn't mean much in the long run. That's not what people will remember. Playing there would help them more than it would help her. The only basketball event outside the WNBA that Caitlin will play in is the Olympics, because it has real meaning and history. It's about representing her country on the world stage, not just playing for money in front of a small crowd. Other events are just distractions and risks that could ruin what she's building. Imagine if she got hurt playing a 3-on-3 game against Angel Reese and missed 20 WNBA games. The WNBA should have paid her $5 million just to make sure that didn't happen. If there's one thing Caitlin knows, it's that her success comes from how she plays on the court. Some players try to get attention by showing off their personality or attitude to land big deals, but not Caitlin. People notice her because of what she does in the game. Her journey started in college, where she didn't just set records, she crushed them. She became the all-time scoring leader in college basketball, not just for women, but for men too. And she did it in style, leading her team to 2 championship games with amazing performances. Of course, all the excitement followed Caitlin to the WNBA. Just her draft brought in 3.4 million viewers. Some people, like Cheryl Swoops, wondered if she could be as good in the pros as she was in college. But guess what? She didn't just meet expectations, she crushed them. In her first season, she averaged an incredible 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game. Think about that for a second. A rookie came in and instantly became one of the best players. She set a new assist record, became the first WNBA rookie to get a triple-double, won Rookie of the Year, led her team to the playoffs, and even finished 4th in MVP voting. Still, some people say Caitlin gets all this attention because of her color, but soon, those people will look really wrong. She has won over a whole new audience with her skills on the court. Need proof? Just check the numbers. Indiana Fever games made up 45% of the WNBA's total TV value, and almost every game that got over 1 million viewers had one thing in common: Caitlin Clark. Her first-round playoff games had more viewers than the WNBA Finals. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Indiana Fever broke a record for the most fans at home games in a season. 34,715 people showed up. That smashed the old record of 250,000, which was set by New York way back in 2001. Of course, we respect great players like Lexi Hull and Tamika Catchings, but let's be honest, that's not who the fans came to see. As I said before, some people will always find something to complain about. It's fair to criticize a player if they don't perform well. But some say Caitlin only gets this attention because of her race and that it takes away from other talented players. But let's be real, the numbers don't lie. She's not just getting hype, she's proving herself on the court. It's really not that hard to understand. Speaking of being hard to get, let's talk about the power of saying no. People don't usually celebrate it, but for Caitlin Clark, it's changing the game. Every time she says no, her brand becomes even bigger. Think about it. This is the first time since 2023 that fans have gone a long time without seeing Caitlin play. Now, people are going crazy just watching clips of her working out or attending football games. Just wait until the WNBA season starts. The hype is so big that the ratings will be off the charts. And when the NBA cancels an event just because one player won't be in it, that's real power. Ask yourself, did you ever think a WNBA player would have that kind of control? Even Caitlin's biggest critics are starting to pay attention. The same people who said she only gets hype because of her race now have no choice but to admit how much she's changing the game. Even Cheryl Swoops, of all people, said she respected Caitlin's decision because it put women's basketball first. That's a big deal, especially since Sabrina did the exact opposite. Let's be real. When you're breaking records, leading a so-so team to the playoffs, and making the NBA rethink its all-star events, it's hard to argue that you haven't earned every bit of attention you're getting. At the start of this video, I said the doubters needed to wake up. And here's why. They have no idea what's coming next. This offseason, Caitlin proved she's not just bringing in fans, she's bringing in players too. Almost everyone agrees that the Fever won free agency. They signed 3-time champion and former Defensive Player of the Year Natasha Howard, 2-time champion and 6-time All-Star DeWanna Bonner, sharpshooter and fierce competitor Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson, a back-to-back champion who left Aja Wilson and the Aces to play with Caitlin. They also added 19-point scorer Kelsey Mitchell and young All-Star Aaliyah Boston. For the first time, Caitlin has a powerhouse team around her. They can score, defend, and win, and they all want to play with her. This isn't just about winning a championship. It's about being part of something bigger. Think about how we still talk about Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, and Dennis Rodman,